Back today for our math work practice. We have new math facts and they are subtracting sevens. Just like we've been doing in the past, subtracting sevens are larger numbers and there's something that I would recommend doing. I'm going to share that with you today. First of all, any number minus itself is always 0. And as you know, when there are two numbers that you're subtracting from one another, or right next to each other in the number line, your answer is always 1. Now, you'll notice that 9 and 7 are really close to each other when you're counting, aren't they? And because they're really close, it's oftentimes a lot easier to start at the number 7 and count up until you get to 9. Let's try it. 7, that's my fist. 7, 8, 9. How many spaces did I have to move, or how many times did I have to count to go from 7 to 9? I moved 2 spaces. Once you get to about here, 7 and 12, they're not as close together anymore. But here's your other tip. 7 plus this number has to equal the top number. It's our fact families. So 7 plus what is 10? 8, 9, 10. Did you get 3? What about down here? Does the same thing work? Yes, it does. 7 plus what number equals 16? 7 plus 7? Nope, that's 14. So 7 plus 8 is 15. 7 plus 9. Oh, that equals 16. 7 plus 9. So 7 plus 9 is 16. Okay. 17 minus 7 is 10. And 18 minus 7 is 11. Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to work on drawing lines for these problems. Okay. So remember that when you draw these lines, you're starting over here and you have to find your answer. 8 minus 7 is 1. So I'm going to go from this 8 to the 1. Then you'd be wrapping it all the way around, right? You'd wrap it around and you'd come to your next number up top here, which is 7. 7 minus 7 is 0. Wrap it around and you get to 15. 15 minus 7 is 8, because I know 8 plus 7 is 15. Wrap it around, and you're coming out right here. 11 minus 7. 7 plus 4 is 11. 4 plus 7 is 11. So 11 minus 7 is 4. Wrap it around, and out here. Okay? You're going to do that all the way down. Then on the back side. You do not have your 7s yet. You'll have your 7s on Tuesday. So you will not be able to do the 7 wrap-ups today, but I would like you to do them when you get them. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and do this whole first column. Then you'll come over to column B and do that column. And then when you're done, lastly is column C. Okay, you won't do the wrap-ups because you don't have them right now. Those are in your packet for this next week, okay? But go ahead and do all 3 columns. If you want to challenge yourself, set a stopwatch or something and see how long it takes you to do column A and put the time of how long it took you. Then do the same thing for column B. See if you're any faster in column B. And then do the same thing for column C and see when you were the fastest getting those facts done, okay? When you're done with that sheet, we're going to move on to doing just a little bit of work with the guided class practice. I don't want you to go ahead and do any inch work today. Okay, we're not going to do that. But I would like you obviously to put your name on it. And today's date is 2/12/21. 2-12-21. We're going to do just a little bit of this right now. We're going to first do this first problem, number 1. It says, Erica went to a party at 4 p.m. She left when the party was over at 7 p.m. How long was she at the party? Now, if you had your little clock out, you could start it at 4 o'clock and you could see how many times the hour hand had, or the minute hand had to go all the way around until you got to 7 o'clock. Or you can do this. You can start at 4 o'clock and you can count until you get to 7. So 4 is your fist. 5, 6, 7. So how many hours was she at the party? 3 hours. I do want you to do number 2 also. Let's go over number 2. Write 437 in expanded form. Remember, when we expand, we stretch it out. So, ones, tens, hundreds. How many hundreds do we have? We have 400. Plus sign. How many tens? There's 3 of them, so count by tens 3 times if you need to. 10, 20, 30, plus 7 ones is still 7. Now, it wants us to write the number for 200 plus 60 plus 7. Remember, this tells us the number of hundreds, number of tens, and number of ones. So 200s, how many times do we have to count by 100 to get to 200? 100, 200. We had to count twice. 60, we'd have to count 6 times to count by tens to get to 60. And 7, of course, is there. The other problem I'd like to do is number 3 with graphing. Hopefully you got the hang of the graphing and did fine on your written assessment. However, let's go ahead and check this. Okay, so I'm looking at my chart, and as I'm looking at my chart, I'm noticing that my chart label is children. And over here, this must be the flavor of ice cream. The number of children that chose vanilla was 8. Chocolate, 10 chose chocolate, and 7 chose strawberry. So we have to go ahead and show that. Each smiley face we draw is worth 2 children. That means that as I'm drawing them, I have to count by 2s. Okay, so we have to get to 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. So you can see I had to draw 4 smileys, and those 4 smileys gave me a total of 8 kids because each smiley is worth 2. Okay, you should be done with that one. Let's move to chocolate. That says 10. So I'm not drawing 10 smileys. Okay, that would actually be 20 children. We want to draw each smiley worth 2 till we get to 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, and lastly, it says 7 for strawberry. Now I notice that 7's an odd number, and since we have an odd number, we're not going to be able to have all of our smileys being whole. Oh dear, what are we going to do? Well, let's count by 2s until we get as close as we can to 7 without going past it. Okay. 2, 4, 6, and now I've got this extra here. 6 and 1 more makes 7. So since I'm at 6, I can't draw another whole one. That would get me to 8, so I have to draw a half of one. Okay? And let's do rounding right here. To round to the nearest 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, stay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Round it up. So when I say stay, it means the group of 10 that we're working with would stay the same, and then you just add a 0. If you round up, it means this group of 10 is going to go up by 1, and then you're going to put a 0 at the end also. So which digit am I looking at? Well, since we're rounding to the nearest 10, I have to look at the 1 spot. Okay, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4 stays the same. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, round it up. What are we rounding up? We're rounding up this 10 spot. So 7 is telling me I have to round up. The 2 becomes a 3, and then we add a 0 at the end. We're going to the nearest 10. 52. What digit are we looking at? We're looking at the 2. Which number may or may not be moving? That 10 spot, which is a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 stays the same. 1, 2. So the 5 is staying, and then I have to add a 0 at the end. 45. I'm looking at the 5. What may or may not be changing? The 4. It's in the 10 spot. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oop, that's not a 4 though, that's a 5. Stays the same. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Round it up. So what am I rounding up? The 4. The 4 turns to a 5, and I have to add a 0. Okay? On the back side, there's just a couple that I want you to work on your own. I would like you, please, to do number 3 and number 2. Circle those, 2 and 3. 6 and 7. But sun shines by them. We're hoping for some warmer, more sunny weather soon, aren't we? And this helps us to know, to know that you were paying good attention in our video today. So you're doing 2, 3, 6, and 7. You'll notice that on number 7, you actually have 2 addition problems and 2 subtraction problems to work on. Also remember, I would put a 0 here in that dime spot because there's not any dimes. Okay, so when you've done 2, 3, 6, and 7, you can go ahead and make sure that this sheet gets put back into your Friday folder.